Shanice here on Eat, Drink, Love, Sassy, not only on IG, but here on YouTube. Today, I wanted to do a video about the importance of scouting trips when you're thinking about moving abroad. I decided that, hey, I want to go to Portugal. Portugal seems to have all of the things that I want in a new place to live outside of the United States. It has great infrastructure, great people, great weather. But it was really important not to just jump right into it, but to truly take the time to scout it out. Let me see if I really like it, because I've never been to Europe, even though I've traveled a lot. And so I decided, hey, I want to make my way over to Portugal first to get a feel of this scene and see if I like it before making the jump. And when I tell you that was the best decision I could make, it was the best decision I could make. Scouting trips are super important. It gives you an opportunity to visit the city that you want to go to, start to check out neighborhoods, check out the pricing, and see if you can have all of the everyday lifestyle things that you have in the States that you'd be willing to have in a new country. Of course, everything is not going to be the same. You're not going to get America outside of America. But I think when you are transitioning, it's good to know what you're comfortable with and what you like and how things are done in other countries, because America's not the only way. But I do believe doing a scouting trip allows you to know if you're ready to leave. So I have six different reasons why I think it's extremely important to do a scouting trip.
Number 6, understanding costs and price.
Number 6, understanding cost and pricing here for your budget. When scouting, you will truly only know how living in Lisbon or living anywhere is going to work for your personal budget. You can watch all of the YouTube channels and people will break down their costs of living, how much grocery bills can be, but the only person who knows your budget is you. There are a lot of really great online resources that will help you, but a scouting trip allows you to go to the grocery stores, go to the corner stores and markets to really see how things are priced. Definitely when it comes to your dietary needs, no one can really figure that out but you. So it's important to go on a scouting trip so that you can learn what that pricing is going to be when it comes to food and transportation and the way that you like to live.
Number 5, comfortability.
Number 5, comfortability as it pertains to appliances, transportation, grocery, getting around that works for you. If you're coming from a small town where you don't have to rely on buses or the metro, you normally drive everywhere, it's really great to go on a scouting trip to see how your adaptability is going to be. In Amsterdam, they ride bikes all the time. If you're not a bike rider, you might want to check it out to see if that's going to be the city for you. Here in Lisbon, there is no way I would drive in this city, especially moving here for the first time. Using public transportation is the best way to get around. So taking a scouting trip allows you to figure those things out. The appliances here are different. The stairs are everywhere. You're walking up or down something all the time. But I would have never known that stuff until I did a scouting trip. So if you're looking to move abroad, to leave the United States, it's really important to do a scouting trip to figure out, hey, am I going to be comfortable in these type of living situations, in this area, in a place that may get really cold or may get really hot? It's really important to do that on a scouting trip because, again, none of us YouTubers are going to be able to determine that for you except you.
Number 4, area and location.
Number 4 is going to be area and location, like the physical area and location. When it comes to the importance of a scouting trip, understanding where you want to live is wildly important, whether you are going to be here for 3 months or 3 years. Scouting trips allow you to come, check out the area, check out the neighborhood, the people, and the amenities you may want in that location so that you can make a much more informed decision. I decided to stay in a really cute touristy area here in Lisbon called Alfama. It's absolutely beautiful and the views are amazing. Being able to look out of my window and see the river and different cruise ships coming in has been absolutely awesome. But if I decided to move to Portugal and I just decided to live in Alfama, I would be miserable because it is nothing but hills and steps in this area. So I am always going up some type of hill. I have 2 flights of steps to get to my apartment. I wouldn't want this as my everyday life. I wouldn't even want this for more than the 3 weeks that I'm staying here. So it is absolutely important to do a scouting trip so you can come visit the area, check out different locations and neighborhoods, so that way you can determine what's going to work best for you. To come here blindly and just hope that you have a great area, it is entirely too risky to do it. So when it comes to the absolute importance of doing a scouting trip, it is to come and check out the different areas and locations to determine where you want to be.
Number 3, communication with family and friends while abroad.
Number 3 of why it's important to do a scouting trip before you decide to move. For me, it is communication with family and friends. Many of my family and friends know that I enjoy traveling, so being able to stay in communication via FaceTime is generally pretty seamless. Well, it's a lot different when you start to move in different time zones. I'm 5 hours apart from all of my friends and family on the East Coast, and just add to that for those who are in different areas of the United States. Well, it has been an absolute challenge when it comes to communication. There are so many times when I try to call friends and it's really early in the morning for them, or they're calling me and I'm trying to go to sleep and it's 2 a.m. Doing the scouting trip has allowed me to truly understand that this is a really big step to take when you're leaving the States. You are going to have your support system very, very far away. For some people, it may only be an hour or 2 different. For others, it could be up to 8 hours, maybe even 12. Doing a scouting trip allowed me to truly allow that to sink in, that the decision I'm making, it also not only affects me, but affects my family and friends. Specifically, how we communicate and how often we can communicate. I would have never known that had I not done this scouting trip. So I put that right in the middle because it's really important as you're taking this step and stepping out on faith and leaving your family unit, your comfort zone, your tribe, is to figure out how does that work when you decide to move abroad. So take the scouting trip so you can learn how that's going to work and how you're going to build a stronger communication system.
Number 2, finding your tribe and community.
2 actually rolls in from 3, which is finding your tribe and community here. Whatever location you decide to go, a scouting trip allows you to go there, check out the people, and see if there's a tribe or community that works for you. If you're a family of 3, you'll want to find areas where there are other families of kids who are in the same age group as your kids. If you're a single nomadic traveler, you may want to go in a place that's a little more lively, where there are other young people or just single people who are traveling and going on adventures, who are creating. No matter what your, yin or yang is, you definitely want to find a community in the location that you want to move to that fits you. And I think that's what's so important about a scouting trip. Even for me taking a scouting trip, I said all of these other things that I'm looking for, Lisbon is ticking all of the boxes, but I wasn't meeting a lot of people, specifically those who lived here in Lisbon. So I really got a little iffy about it because I'm like, hey, if I can't find that here, I don't want to live in a totally different country by myself, having issues communicating with my family back at home, getting frustrated about being in a new city, and I don't have a tribe. I don't have anyone who may even understand some of the things I'm going through and can help me along the way while I'm here. So scouting trips allow me to do that. Being able to meet some of those Facebook friends that you've made in person. So doing a scouting trip, it's super important to do that, to find your tribe and community wherever you decide to land.
Number 1, the language.
Last but definitely not least is language. Going on a scouting trip, it is absolutely important to check out the country you're going to and see how well you can communicate there. As an American, of course, English is spoken everywhere, but all English is not the same. You can totally relocate to places like Australia or England and probably do totally fine with the English that you have. But if you're going to another country where they speak a totally different language, it's extremely important to do a scouting trip to see how far you can get with the English that you have, or any of the language knowledge. Some of us went to school and learned Spanish all our lives. Then you go to a Spanish-speaking country and you know nothing. So it is so important for a scouting trip to see, hey, do I need to pick up a language class? Do I need to start Duolingo or check out different YouTubers who teach the language and get a good foundation before moving? That I have found to be very, very helpful on this scouting trip here in Lisbon, Portugal. Yes, a lot of people do speak English, but communication and interpretation is totally different. There are so many times when I'll go out and ask if anyone speaks English, and they'll say, yeah, a little bit. And sometimes that little bit is actually really good, and I'm able to communicate without any issues. Sometimes that little bit will have me getting something that I totally didn't order, something I totally didn't ask for, because their interpretation or their understanding from that English is not the same. So it was really important to come and figure that out, to say, hey, I might want to pick up some language classes before I get here, or that high school Spanish I took 20 years ago ain't gonna cut it. Take a scouting trip to really get into the areas and the metro and do all of the things that you would normally do in your everyday life, but most importantly, figure out how you are going to communicate with the people there. Remember, if you are looking to move to another country, it is not about you or them being able to communicate with you, them being able to understand you. It is about you being able to communicate with them in their country, in their native tongue. So, deciding to move and going off on this journey, you absolutely should do it. Everything that I said are reasons why you should take this scouting trip. But most importantly, you're not going to know until you go. So, when it comes to deciding where you want to go and making that decision that you are going to leave, you are going to move, you are going to do your thing, make sure you take a scouting trip. My suggestion is about 2 to 3 weeks to really get yourself adjusted, take your time, do the touristy thing, but do the everyday life thing too while you're there. So that is my suggestion of the six things that you should do, and the 6 things that are important as it pertains to doing a scouting trip. Again, thank you for watching this video. I'm Shanice. This is Eat, Drink, Love Sassy, not only on IG, but here on YouTube. See you next time.